welcome back to Treasure and Change, where every coin is a piece of... I guess I never really thought this far ahead. We're not doing coins today. We're doing paper notes, bills. That's right, I collect paper notes too. I find that the history is just as rich as with coins, and I do bank strap hunting. We'll do that in another video, I'm sure. And maybe I'll do some deep dives into some of the pieces of my collection that I find have a lot of historical significance. But without further ado, let's look at some paper notes. I checked this book out of the library, actually. I do believe that libraries are great resources for coin collecting and currency knowledge. And guess what? It's free. You can just get your library card for free, pull this out of the library and borrow it. So that's what I did. I found, I want to show you a couple of these. I love this. I don't own it. It's the battleship on the back of this $2 bill here, this Federal Reserve banknote. And so a lot of these have nicknames as well. This is the wood chopper because there's an image of a gentleman chopping wood. I did breeze by it, but over here there's a really cool bill that I like. It's an education bill here. It's showing someone educating a young child, and there in the background is the fasces, which is a symbol of unity that goes back used in the Roman times and such. So that's a cool note. A lot of these are very collectible. You'll see I've always liked the perfect circle around the portrait of Abraham Lincoln there. There's, let me see here, did that one. So this bison is a cool one. I also would love to have that. There's gold certificates. So the gold certificates are all yellow. They have the yellow seal. You could trade this in for basically the equivalent in gold. You could go to the bank and the bank would give you gold, which is kind of cool. That was, of course, way back in the day. And here's more of these gold certificates here. You'll see they're 1800s mostly, late 1800s. Let me keep going. I have some earmarks here of things that I was hoping to show you. So this is really cool history. Back during World War II, all the bills that were circulating in Hawaii, they used to put the word Hawaii on the bill, on the front and the back, basically showing that they're special to Hawaii. And the reason that is because if Imperial Japan ever conquered Hawaii from the United States during World War II, they could immediately pass a bill in Congress invalidating these as currency, so that Hawaii couldn't, so that Japan couldn't benefit from collecting the currency that was in Hawaii at the time. And that's such a cool piece of history. There's pieces of history like that throughout currency collecting that I find very cool. They also had $500 bills, which I'm not sure if a lot of you knew. Not only that, they had $1,000 bills. Not only that, they had $5,000 bills. Whoop, spoiler alert, they had $5,000 bills. Not only that, they had $10,000 bills. I'll stop there because that's about as high as we're gonna go today. But imagine owning one of these. Some of these actually, I believe it's okay if you own the 5 and the 10,000, but there's some bills that you're not legally supposed to own. So that's kind of cool history there. Mostly these were used to transfer money efficiently between banks. So you wouldn't see someone walking around with a $10,000 bill in their pocket in the year 1934. Mostly these were to efficiently move money throughout different banking systems. We're experiencing some technical difficulties. Apologies, please stand by. There's a glitch in the brain of this human. A couple times I'll use the term mint when I mean the Bureau of Engraving and Printing. The mint does coinage. The Bureau of Engraving and Printing does paper currency, bills, notes. So please disregard that. if I've used the word currency, which is basically overall money, to mean bills or notes, right? Just forgive me here. This is a welcoming place of forgiveness. So anyway, I'm going to do a very poor transition here. I'm going to go straight into error notes. So hopefully you catch that. And I got some things to show you. Please enjoy. You have to be careful when you go to purchase. And that's why we're talking about beginner stuff here. You know, some of these errors can be very easy to try to fake. Like you see these big ink smudges on some of these bills. Someone could grab some very black ink and smudge a bill and tell you that it's one of these errors. There's also errors that people can bleach out the paper, or some of the ones that I think are very funny, that are not funny, but I guess a little sad because they are catching people. And I actually see this all the time, is the ones that are misprints, misaligned. So let me find, so some of this right here, where it looks misaligned and like the cut is wrong, I'll show you how they fool people into wasting money all the time on eBay. Let me go show you what they do. So you can buy something like this right now from the US Mint. You can go online and buy it. And what it is, it's an uncut sheet of bills, right? So this is an uncut sheet of bills. People will cut this uncut sheet. They'll get another dollar like this. They'll just take scissors and they'll cut it so that it's cut here. And therefore they'll try to pass it off as a miscut bill. But it's not a miscut bill. It's a tourist essentially can buy these at like mint gift shops. I don't know if they're still selling them in mint gift shops, but they sell them online. And you could just buy it and cut it in a certain way that makes people think that it's an error straight from the mint. Now, it's not. It's just, you know, a mint product that someone bought and manipulated. So you have to be very careful when you go to buy currency, especially for stuff like that, where they'll cut it as I was showing to make it look like it's one of these cutting errors, but it's not. So be careful out there. I had mentioned bar notes, and you might say, well, what's a bar note? Joseph W. Barr was in the position of Secretary of the Treasury for a very short period of time, months, not years. So if you find a note that has his signature, you call it a bar note, and it's a little bit more rare. Another interesting piece of currency history is when they first came out with certain bills, they used to put a numbering system for which location it was printed at. And the numbering system used to confuse people because despite the fact that it said $5, the number 5555555555555 all over this 555555555, people would look at the 7 and be like, this is worth $7. So that's where they ended up changing it to an alphabet instead of a number. So I just thought that was an interesting piece of history on bills as well. Now, what if you're saying, that's great and all, but I don't have $1.2 million to buy a piece of currency. What should I do? So here's how you should start collecting currency. Here's how I started. You go to the bank and you ask them for a run of their best currently circulated currency, and they'll give you this. Now this is $185 if you can't afford $185 to put away and not spend because times are hard, and I do agree. I started slowly. I didn't just go and say, give me all of them. I went and I asked for the 5. Then I went the next time and asked for the 10 and the 20 and the 50 and the 100 until I had a full run. Now I say start with the 5, that's the tip, because the 5, the 10, and the 20 are going to circulate more frequently, which means the condition on them, it'll be harder to find crisp, brand new, in great condition. So if you start with the ones that are harder to find in good condition, you get them in good condition, then you can move on. The 50s and the 100s, there are plenty that you can find in good condition. And then you can always start and upgrade as you go. So this is the 20 I have. I liked the serial number at first because it was almost a binary. If that one were a 6 or a 2, it would be a binary. But look at it, it's not really a fancy serial number. It's got ink stains up here on the top. It's got big creases going through it. So this is going to get upgraded when I can find one that's better. So now every time I go to the bank, I'm going to have to remember, hey, do you have a nice crisp 20? And they'll pull one out and I'll sub this out for it. So that's a way that makes this very inexpensive compared to larger notes. Like you saw that one for 1.2 million, right? This is an easy way to start. And if you ever run into financial trouble, go ahead and spend it. Yes, inflation might take a little bit away, but that's fine. Now, as you're going and you get your set of the currently circulated, then you can start asking. Here's the next pro tip I have for you. You can ask the tellers if they have any bills that they're gonna get rid of, that they're gonna shred. You can go with your picture on your phone and you can say, hey, do you have any of the monotone, like green only, not the ones with the color, right? The ones that are green only, the big face or the little face. And if they don't know what you're talking about right away, that's when you take out your phone, you show them the picture, right? Now, the banks are required to send these off to the shredder. If you make good connection with your bank tellers, you can tell them, hey, I want to save these from the shredder. Can you help me preserve history? I would love to see them. And they'll pull out a pack of bills. Some are modern but damaged, but others will be these. And then you can cherry pick from their stack. Oftentimes they'll let you look at them, and you can pick the ones that you like the most, right? Or that are in the best condition. You can go every time and ask, and over time, if you find one that's better, you sub it out. So here are duplicates, right? I couldn't really decide which one I liked more, so I just grabbed them both, and I'll probably go give this one back, right? And keep this one. So the next time I go to the bank, now I have $100 that I can give to them so that I can get a different currency, or I can exchange for a box of nickels, right? To look through. So you're never really losing money when you're doing this, putting away this. You're really just saving it. You might lose a little to inflation, like I mentioned, but it's a great way to get into currency collecting, and there's a lot of history here. And as you go, you can upgrade with better quality, with better serial numbers, and if you ask for fresh packs, that's the best. Like if they have a clean strap, you can even ask them to order you bills. I don't have $2 bills or $1 bills here, but I do have the $2 bills and the $1 bills as well. So that's how I started collecting currency. Once you get these series complete, you will feel so much more accomplished that you have a full series, right? You actually have 3 full series, and yes, they're modern, but you got them for face value, right? You didn't pay hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars to learn the hard way about the conditions and the grades and, you know, all the minutia that goes into currency, right? Because some people think that when currency is a little off center, it's actually going to increase the value. Well, that's not the case. When you go to grade currency, you want it perfectly centered on the note. So these are things that you're going to learn the hard way if you go out and you spend a bunch of money on a note that maybe is worth a lot less than you thought it was. Maybe you thought that it looked cool and you overspent on it, right? So start like this. If you enjoy it, if you enjoy that collecting and getting every one, then this is a great way to start. Now, if you have any questions about currency, go ahead and drop them in the comments. If you have any knowledge that you want to share, go ahead and drop it in the comments. This is learning for all of us, right? Because there's a lot of notes that I don't own. There's a lot of history on notes that I want to learn more about. There's a lot of actual notes that, like the Federal Reserve banknotes, that I think are very interesting history. the Hawaiian bills, the Philippines bills. They had a lot of test bills that they were doing testing of currency to see the paper and what paper lasted longer. So they were doing essentially A/B testing out with different notes. They also tested different printing styles. So they had something called web note, which is basically instead of printing on flat sheets of paper, printing in rolls. So there's different methods that were used for printing that I also think is very interesting history to learn along the way. So it's one of those things like, which rabbit hole do you want to go down? I love coin collecting, but I also love currency. So let me know what your thoughts on that are, if any of you collect currency, and I hope to catch you in the next one.